Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode number 52. This is reviewing the 954th episode of the anime, which is the conclusion to this particular story, which is known as the Unsolved Cocktail Case, which was originally listed as the Labyrinth Cocktail. Yep, this episode right here adapts last three. It finished up chapter 111, which is basically just 3 pages, and covers the entirety of chapter 1012. Yep, pick up where last week's episode left off, with also a bit of a recap, basically explaining bits and pieces of what happened over the past couple episodes. The episode starts off with showing off that Rachel has found a fake nail. Turns out it belongs to Yuri. Yep. And of course, well, it's pointed out, yep, it was confirmed by the bunnies that this is definitely her nail, and she just randomly found it. Now, the whole thing, now there's also this thing where Conan reveals to Rachel that apparently Amuro found Rachel's wallet. That is actually set up for the end of the episode, believe it or not. Yeah, which is one of the most oddest endings I've ever seen. Now, they do add a bunch of stuff here, a little more perspective here. Like, Conan easily makes a very good deduction, which of course Richard Moore actually agrees with, surprisingly. That he points out, though, due to the fact he deduces that both the rich man and the bunny are not the murderer. Nope. The fact that, well, when these two could have possibly poisoned her, the rich guy was actually with Richard Moore, and he simply just walks past his freaking car. He just basically brushes by her. He doesn't really do much of anything at all. Nope. hmm Yep. Okay. The woman's name is Yuri. Yeah. And of course, Richard Moore basically was with him the whole time, and it's pointed out though by the bodyguards that nothing strange was happening. No, he wasn't looking at his watch. He wasn't glancing at the restaurant. So, not the murderer. In the the case of Sana, the female, the other one of the bunnies, who's a coworker of hers, and she actually doesn't really like her very much due to jealousy. And even she points out, though, why would she want to kill Yuri over something as small as basically her rising up to get more money? Yeah. So both Conan and Amuro both agree that the murderer is the butler. Yes. The old expression, the butler did it. Yep, he tried to poison her. Oh yeah, and here's the thing, it is basically revealed of how he basically did this. Yes. Well, first you have Conan, which by the way the manga is a little different. Like, oh, you have to think, oh, cool thing, and you have him basically hero screen. A little more expansion because I love how the anime basically changes this stuff. They just basically add a little more substance to this thing. You show up, oh look, cool phones, and the fact that phones have a zoom function, which that is true. Smartphones do have zoom functions in them. Basically, you have to basically squint it like this to make it bigger. That's how zooming works. And apparently, Conan deduces that he used the zoom function on his phone to zoom in on Yuri's glass, which he was able to do thanks to the SOS he basically when he activated the phone's alarm. He slipped some poison to her. Now, one thing the episode does not reveal is where the heck he even got arsenic. Yes, arsenic is what he used to try to poison her. And of course, he confesses that he thought that she was just a new woman he was chasing after his wife passed away 6 months prior to the episode. And it turns out that, and of course, Amuro was one point of this out though, that Yuri is actually Gonzo's daughter. Yeah, it's his daughter, which shocks everybody. And here the thing is, they reveal also in the episode the reason why he was gaining, losing weight, tripping like crazy, just so reason why he visited the clothing store, just so he can see his daughter. That's the only reason why. And the fact that his daughter actually copied how he uses his chopsticks. Yeah, That's how they figured it out. Which okay, and of course, Sana reveals that the butler was trying to buy off Yuri, and it turns out that Gonzo knew nothing about this at all. He's shocked to hear about this, and he only did it just to protect his late wife, who apparently his Gonzo's late wife, the butler Banjumi, actually knew since she was a child. So basically, it's kind of like a father looking after the wishes of his late daughter in a way. That's pretty much what it is. And right after he confesses, just by sheer coincidence, Takagi is on the phone with the hospital, reveals that, yep, she actually survived. Yep, she's perfectly fine. She's in stable condition. And they decided to not actually arrest him for this at all. Surprisingly, Maguire and Takagi did not arrest him, despite the fact that this butler committed attempted murder. Yep, he committed attempted murder over a misunderstanding. I would think he probably will receive some jail time for this. And then, like, this is wrapped up. Of course, they have, Rachel thank Amuro for finding her wallet. And then this leads to the end of the episode, which is, believe it or not, the beginning of the first part of this arc. With Amuro, you actually see Amuro break into the Kudo. Well, first you see Shin in his Subaru disguise, and then he breaks into the Kudo house and points the gun at Shin in regular form, and about to pull the trigger, look about to kill each other, and then Booker Kudo hits a light switch. I gotta praise the fact the anime did change, because it was kind of awkward how the way that this part of they actually made this thing a lot longer than it was in the manga. In the manga, this whole last few minutes was only like 2 panels. Yeah, only 2 panels on like 1 page. Yes, this whole last bit, which I love the fact the anime did expand upon this. And plus, I love how they introduced the Kudo House and how they introduced this episode. Yeah, it's a great form of animation. I love this. This was freaking fantastic. I loved it. Yep. Of course, he introduced himself and introduced his smoking hot wife. And then it's like, hey, can you stay for tea? In case you're wondering, does next chapter, which is basically going to be a policewoman story, it's going to be another part of Metropolitan Police Love Story series, does this follow up the ending of this particular thing? Nope, it doesn't. It goes to something else like right afterwards. I gotta say, the case itself was actually okay. Didn't have really necessarily a problem with it. I mean, it's solved. I mean, you watch the episode itself. Not much time passes by over the course of the episode. I would say by the time the episode ends, well, prior to the whole really interesting ending that develops the series itself, that over the course of, I'd say about a few hours, over the course of these 3 episodes, despite the fact, when this arc was released originally, this was 5 chapters. Yes, 5. Which is nothing unusual when it comes to this particular series. Yes, each arc tends to be about 3 to 6 chapters apiece. That's pretty much how when it comes to this particular series. And plus, I love the ending. And I should point out, though, in the anime itself, this is the first time the Kudos have been seen since episode, I think it was like 942. So it's been a good 11 episodes since they last physically appeared in the series. And they say, yeah, when the last showed up, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to stay in Japan to help Fuji fight the Black Syndicate. This is never mentioned in this particular thing. Like, oh, they're just happily back in Japan. With no explanation for this at all. Yes. And what the heck they've been up to since that particular episode? Apparently, they've just been sharing a house with Subaru. For, like, no reason at all. Yeah, it's particularly very weird, this particular episode, this ending. Yes. The changes I think they made in this episode were great. That made it sound a little bit bigger than what it was. Yeah, I would say dialogue-wise, it made pretty much the same. I mean, who knew that they would keep like a lot of the dialogue from the manga and have the thing be so much expanded upon, which was so I loved. Yeah, otherwise, so that's really it for this particular review. Yeah, so next review, what I'm going to do next would be a review about Pokemon Corner. Yeah, basically, I was planning on doing 2 videos today. But this particular video was not necessarily planned, but I decided to want to review because I do have a couple trades ready to go. Next part of Card Captor Saga will be done tomorrow, along with One Piece, Boruto, and Dragon Ball Super. Okay, see you next review. Bye.